Imagine you were born into poverty in 18th century China. Not the quiet kind, but the kind that bites. The kind where rice is rationed, winters are cruel, and your parents whisper at night about selling one of their daughters, because feeding everyone simply isn't possible. And one day, that daughter is you. You're barely 8 years old when you're taken, packed into a cart bound for Beijing, alongside other poor girls from the countryside. You don't know it yet, but you're heading into the belly of a beast, the Forbidden City. It sounds majestic, right? A place of golden rooftops, crimson gates, and emperors dressed in dragon robes. But you won't see that part, not really. You're not going there to be honored. You're going there to serve. The cart stops at the Vermilion Gates. Guards don't smile. Eunuchs don't speak. And the moment you step past those walls, you lose your name. From now on, you're simply Maid. Your identity, erased. Your past, forgotten. Your future, owned. You're scrubbed, inspected, and trained. You learn how to bow, how to carry tea, how to never make eye contact with anyone of higher rank. And everyone is of higher rank. You sleep on a straw mat. Wake at dawn. Scrub floors until your knees go numb. A single mistake, like forgetting to bow, can mean a beating. But you don't cry. Crying is weakness. And weakness gets punished. The Forbidden City is vast, nearly 1,000 buildings. But you never go far. Your world is a corner of the inner court, near the Hall of Mental Cultivation, where the Empress Dowager sometimes visits. You wash robes for concubines. You sweep endless halls. You memorize dozens of ritual phrases and facial expressions that must be performed precisely, like a puppet on strings. Food is rationed. You eat last. Always. One day, you see a senior maid collapse from hunger. The other girls don't even blink. They just step over her. That's the rule, don't get involved. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't feel. You think your enemy is poverty. But here, it's other maids. You're always being watched. By older servants. By eunuchs. By jealous eyes in silk uniforms. If you look too pretty, that's a threat. If you speak too well, you're uppity. If the wrong concubine thinks the emperor glanced at you, you might disappear overnight. There's a rumor one girl tried to run. They found her body in the lotus pond. You learn quickly, stay invisible. Be obedient. Erase yourself. And yet, the pain creeps in. You miss your mother's hands. Your brother's laughter. But those thoughts are dangerous. So you bury them. Deeper. And deeper. You're not alone in your suffering. In Qing Dynasty records, there's a real maid named Lu Lihua, just 14 when she entered service under Empress Dowager Cixi. She was tasked with cleaning incense burners and fetching cold water at dawn. One day, she mistakenly spilled hot tea on a favored eunuch's robe. He beat her so severely that she could no longer walk for weeks. Lu was punished not just physically, but mentally. She was isolated, then demoted to latrine duty, where she spent years in the dark corners of the palace, forgotten. No apology. No justice. Just a stain on the record, incompetent. Another maid, Chunhua, was caught gossiping about a concubine. She was stripped, flogged, and sent to the cold palace, a place where disgraced women and servants waited in silence until death. No visitors. No light. Just time, stretching like a blade. Imagine serving the same hall for 10 years. 10 winters. 10 summers. And not once did you step outside the Forbidden City's walls. You grow up, but your world stays small. You still bow to every eunuch. You still sleep on straw. Your body matures, but your mind is chained. You're now in charge of polishing hair ornaments for high-ranking consorts. That sounds fancy, but it just means more work, more eyes watching, and more blame when anything goes wrong. And now, you're no longer the youngest maid. New girls arrive. Fresher. Prettier. Quieter, for now. You teach them, but you also fear them. Because the palace feeds on youth. And you're starting to wrinkle. In a place where usefulness is measured in silence and smooth skin, age is a threat. You've seen what happens to those who lose favor. You remember May, a senior maid who turned 30. Her hands were stiff. Her knees swollen. One morning, she poured the Empress's water too slowly. By nightfall, she was gone. No goodbyes. No explanations. Some say she was sent to the cold palace. Others whisper she jumped from the western pavilion roof. Either way, no one speaks her name now. You survive by becoming invisible again. You move like air. You never speak unless spoken to. You keep your face down, your hands busy, and your heart empty. The trick to survival in the palace is to stop being human. You're not allowed to fall in love. Not with the guards. Not with the eunuchs. Certainly not with the young musicians who visit during festivals. But your heart doesn't know the rules. There's a moment, brief, quiet, when a young palace guard drops a peach near your foot. Your fingers brush as you return it. He smiles. For 3 weeks, you both exchange glances in the corridor. That's it. No letters. No words. But someone sees. And suddenly, he's gone. Transferred. Punished. You never see him again. You're lucky. You weren't touched. If you had been, you might have been executed. Palace laws are clear. A maid who lays with a man is a traitor to the emperor's household. Your body belongs to the court. Not to you. In the imperial archives, there's a chilling record of a maid named Xiang, who served during the reign of the Qianlong emperor. She was accused of improper association with a kitchen worker. There was no proof, just suspicion. She was interrogated for 3 days, denied sleep, and beaten with bamboo sticks until she confessed. Her sentence: public caning and banishment to a rural textile labor camp. But she didn't make it. She died on a cart ride out of Beijing. Her name is listed in court records only once: Xiang, disloyal servant. No grave. No prayer. No justice. You survive long enough to become the quiet shadow in the corridor. Other maids avoid you. You remind them what's coming. Your back aches. Your hair is thinning. You're nearly 40. No one comes to rescue you. No one writes letters. Your family likely assumed you died years ago. You're given fewer tasks now, not out of kindness, but because the younger ones are faster. You've become a ghost of the palace. A living reminder that even obedience has an expiration date. One day, you're told to pack your things. Not to go home. But to join the temple maids outside the city, a silent retirement full of sweeping altars and serving monks. No marriage. No children. No name. That's how a palace maid ends, not with honor, but with erasure. Imagine this. You've left the forbidden city, not in glory, not in disgrace, but in silence. You're taken to a monastery outside the city walls, where ex-maids tend to incense burners and sweep shrines from dawn to dusk. No jewels. No silks. Just brown robes, rice porridge, and whispered prayers. You're not old, not truly. But in the court's eyes, you are a used vessel. No longer beautiful. No longer useful. At night, when the lanterns are low and the crickets chirp, you sometimes dream of your old service hall. You dream of cold water, of sharp looks, of that peach dropped long ago by a boy whose name you never knew. You wake, heart pounding, with no one to speak to. Because no one cares who you were. In a surviving Qing dynasty legal document, we find the name Li Wan, a palace maid who served under Empress Dowager Cixi. Li entered service at age 13 and remained in the Forbidden City for 22 years. Her file states that she was never reprimanded, never rewarded. After her dismissal at age 35, she lived alone near the western hills in a two-room hut. Her only possession of value was a silk comb she had once polished for the Empress. A visiting official wrote. She was quiet. Wore no color. When asked about court life, she simply bowed and changed the subject. Li Wan died of fever during a particularly harsh winter. There was no funeral. Her neighbors buried her in a shallow grave near the monastery orchard. Her life, once woven into the fabric of an empire, ended in anonymity. You grow old without knowing what joy is. Not truly. You've never held a child. Never had a love letter written to you. Never touched grass without being told when to stop. And yet, you served. Faithfully. Quietly. You were one of hundreds. Maybe thousands. Forgotten hands that dusted history's halls, that boiled water for the powerful, that sewed pearls onto dragon robes. And now. There's no record of your name. No portraits. No plaques. You will vanish. Like the others. And the emperors, the consorts, the generals, they will be remembered. Their names carved in jade, their deeds written in gold. But you? You were just a maid. Yet, without you, the palace would have fallen to chaos. The meals would have rotted. The robes would have gone unwashed. The candles unlit. They ruled, yes. But you kept the palace breathing. So, imagine you were her. A girl taken from home. Silenced for life. Used and discarded. Never loved, never thanked. Would you still obey? Would you still smile as you served? Or would you, in some quiet corner of the forbidden city, dare to hope for more? Maybe that's the question history forgot to ask. If this story moved you, don't let her memory be erased again. Hit like. Subscribe to Herstory Sucked for more untold lives of women who history left behind. Because they deserve more than silence. Turn on notifications. The next episode is coming soon, and it's just as haunting.